Hello, my name is Mitch and I draw Blood Force, and it's a new week. We're doing a new book, and now we're going to be doing Rob Liefeld's Prophet from October of 1993. So just before we get into it, if you enjoyed the channel, if you think you might want to support me a little bit as an artist, what you can do is in the description there's a link to my Patreon. If you subscribe there, that gives you access to all the Blood Force stuff, the pages and comics, as well as these videos before they get to YouTube, usually a week or so in advance. So let's get to it. Shit. I don't even know what to say about this fucking thing. Alright, so Prophet is, of course, Rob Liefeld's Captain America. He's a super soldier who got experimented on in World War II, put in suspended animation, and awakened accidentally in the future. So we saw his deal in Youngblood number 2 and 3, mostly. And 4, I guess. And that's about it. That's what, Rob Liefeld likes his stuff that he can call high concept. I'm not sure if Rob knows what high concept means exactly. So the definition I get here is an emphasis on a striking and easily communicable idea. And, okay, so that I would say Rob has. This is the kind of idea he likes. The elevator pitch. That's something he can break down in 60 seconds. And if you were to ask him, that's the kind of cover he likes too, where he can just describe it in like 5 seconds. It's like, okay, so what's on the cover? Dude standing there with knives. That wasn't even 5 seconds. That's how you know a quality cover. So yeah, not one of his highest effort covers here, I would say. Whenever I see Liefeld do Prophet, I start hearing the Ultimate Warrior music, mostly because of that hair, I think. So the focus of this week wasn't meant to it wasn't meant to be the Liefeld Prophet. It was meant to be the Stephen Platt Prophet, and it will be. I just thought it might be an idea to show what we're comparing to. Also, because Stephen Platt did, from issue 5 on, what we'll do is we'll do 5 to 7, because 8 and 9 are part of Extreme Sacrifice, I think, 10 too. And we might want to do that as its own separate thing. Particularly the crossover between issue 8 and Bloodstrike, I think it's 16 or something. And I don't have Bloodstrike 16, so I don't want to get into that just yet. So for now, we're going to start with Prophet number 1. We're going to do a little bit of extra because there's not a whole lot to say about it, really. But for now, let's just check this thing out. So this is, of course, created, written, and laid out by Rob Liefeld. Rob Liefeld always has to have the creator credit on there. That's very important to him, Penciled and inked by Dan Panosian. And this is very early days Dan Panosian, when he didn't know a lot about how to draw properly. He's the kind of guy who you can tell learned how to draw from reading comic books. Which is, that's fine. It's kind of what I did. But, so he's got like a basic competence in a lot of areas, but, maybe not understanding the actual fundamentals, just knowing, okay, this is what you do in this situation, that sort of thing. And then he kind of apes off Rob's style, apart from that. And I feel reasonably comfortable saying that because I know it's at one point Dan Panosian basically decided, you know what, I should go and take some art classes and figure out how to do this correctly. And he did. And yes, he's quite good at that now. We'll see a little bit of that later in this video. So starting out, this is how Rob wants to start his new number 1. Like this. Page full of text. So there's always a question, like, does Rob actually know what he's doing with comics? Because sometimes, I don't know, I get the impression like he's a slightly better writer than I expect him to be, which is utterly incompetent. He's not quite there. He relies an awful lot on cliches. In fact, mostly on cliches, I would say. But he knows that for the most part, you need to have that driving energy kind of thing if you can't write for shit, right? He knows, so he knows that much. But this is unimaginative. This is, I can't think of a good enough way to start this without just giving you the fucking Star Wars text crawl. So this is giving you what the background is behind Prophet. You know, he showed up in a few Youngblood issues. He was built to battle something, ended up battling Darkthorn, and his connection to DOCC has been cut off, so he's like low on power, and he's having weird dreams, and yeah, and he's a man out of time, because Rob loves that shit. And what we're going to start off with here, the dream. So they tell us right off the bat, this is a dream sequence. It doesn't matter. So what Rob's going to do is he's going to have Dan Panosian draw Prophet kind of getting into fights while he quotes scripture. Literally. He's talking Psalms here a few times, actually. He quotes Psalms. And I think we can assume that he's correct, actually, when he quotes that, because Rob's dad actually was a preacher. So it feels like, he's probably getting real quotes. It also feels like Rob figured all he needed was some cool visuals, and then I quote Bible shit over it, and that makes an interesting comic. So, incorrect. Here we have Prophet stands on a cliff, and then a spaceship shows up and drops robots on him. And then we get a double-page vertical spread, which Rob loves. He did the layouts. Makes sense. And again, this is all just scripture. And Dan Panosian isn't quite up to the task of making this look interesting. Certainly not making it look like it deserves a double-page spread. It's better than Merritt Michaels when he tried it, but not a ton. So, scripture, hack. This is fun. Get the view from the other side while he hacks head in two. That's all right. It's good stuff. And then more swinging, more hacking. And just the usual senseless narration by Rob here. Those passages race through my head, giving me confidence, giving me strength. Prophet runs for the ladder. Lightning maybe hits the ladder. I suppose that's what's happening there. Robot falls off the ladder. That's all that happened there. We talked about the cause, and my father sacrificed his life for the cause, and in doing so inspires his son to do the same. And nothing here means anything. Troll! Oh, sorry. Prophet gains access to the alien ship here, and sees who his new enemy must be. It's another vertical double-page spread. And this is Mary, who, by the way, is somebody we have not been introduced to. And somebody in shadow. And again, not worth a double-page spread. It's, you see what I mean, though, in that it's basically competent. There's no glaring mistakes here, I would say. Even in terms of anatomy, like, she's not ridiculous. Yeah, she's got, like, her hips thrust back, but that's about it. And pretty long legs. But, this is not nearly as ridiculous as these comics would usually get. And then the guy with the hood throws off the hood, and oh my god, it's Empire Strikes Back. And we get no with photocopies. So yeah, the setup for this was, Rob felt like stealing from Empire. Because nobody's seen Empire. They won't have seen this one coming. So then, Prophet gets woken up by Kirby in a panel that looks like Merritt Michaels probably drew it. Or something. This looks even like worse than Dan Panosian can do at this point. And we get again, they talk about not much of anything. He explains the dream he just had. So he's going to waste a bunch of time going through stuff that we just saw. And then he's going to talk about how, you're just having those dreams because you're weak, because you're separated from the DOCC. Remember, like, how we told you on the first page? So we're going to just rehash shit to fill space. Get our profit number 0 coupon. I have profit number 0. We won't be going through it today because who cares? And now we're going to go through Profit's origin, which, again, I'm pretty sure we talked about on the first page. We're going to go into more detail, I suppose. One thing I didn't realize from the Youngblood stuff was that Prophet was actually a product of German engineering during World War II, without Hitler's knowledge. But that still does cast kind of a weird light on it, particularly when you get... Like, this is supposed to be young Kirby. Kirby is this character here, who was a member of the Berserkers, guy from the future, went back in time to get Prophet and help him to defeat Darkthorn or something. So, for one thing, I guess Rob told him, hey, when they're younger, give them big eyes, and that makes them look like, you know, more fresh-faced kind of thing. So he went, Kermit the Frog, gotcha. And yeah, so that just looks like a fucking alien. Second thing, having your Jack Kirby tribute character be a member of the Nazis. That to me shows kind of a stunning lack of awareness. But, I mean, stunning lack of awareness is kind of Rob's middle name, isn't it? And they weren't working for Hitler directly, and they were trying to work to, you know, against his goals, that kind of thing. But at the same time, you can't have your Kirby stand-in be working for the Nazi high command. You just can't do that. And we're going to get a completely meaningless splash here. I am ready for whatever we must face, Kirby. I must rejoin with DOCC. My life, my destiny depends on it. You know, like, I don't even know if Rob laid this out, because this doesn't look like a Rob layout. It's boring. At least Rob, you know, like they flex or something. Something intense is happening. There'd be speed lines. There'd be like shouting and crazy, intense hair. You know, something intense would be happening. Nothing is happening here. Guy's standing there, he's like, I got swords. And then we're back in Washington. And this program was so crazy, y'all. It was advanced even by today's standards. We got to hunt down John Prophet because he's crazy, this program. Oh, my God. And he's at large. He's off in the world doing shit without our knowledge. Can't have that. And here's the Mary chick who was in the dream. So I guess she maybe is going to betray him or not. Do we care? No. And this is the sexiest pic that Dan Panosian can come up with at the time. I'm not going to fault him. I wouldn't try it. It's a bit unfortunate he had to do it on the full page splash. But again, this is a Liefeld layout. And I can kind of see that. So, Kirby and Prophet airdrop on a mountain to infiltrate an installation of some kind, which seems familiar. I think Rob's done that several times through X-Force and Youngblood. And then, oh shit, they got found by guys with guns and circular heads. That does seem like a Liefeld double splash, but that's 3 vertical double splash pages in one fucking issue. And then to be continued, be back here in 6 weeks. Who did it take 6 weeks to draw this? And then we get some pinups. There's a lot of pinups in Prophet, oddly. This one's by Vic Bridges, who would draw Freak Force. And this one is not signed, but judging by the little bit of tech here and the design sense, I would guess Dave Johnson. Again, better looking than anything in the book. Maybe you should have given him the book. And then Eric Larson wouldn't have poached him. I don't know. And this is all just breakdown stuff. Rob likes to have a wall of text to start and a wall of text to end on his issue 1s. He did this on Supreme as well, if I recall. Not the wall of text to start, though. So, that's Prophet number 1. Are you not thrilled? Do you not want to buy another issue now? Well, you have to wait 6 weeks. I'm sure it'll be worth it. Let's see how issue 2 looked. That's fucking awful. This is one of the worst covers I can think of. You can tell Rob just did not want to come up with anything. These trees are completely an afterthought. This was all he could think of. It's fucking two guys jumping. One with a bad knife and one with splooge guns. And there's nothing of interest in the book. Again, vertical double page splashes that you're going to cut with the fucking coupon. And then if you go, that wasn't worth it at all. But Bloodstrike's going to be in the next one. So, yeah, there you go. And then some more. I feel like the pinups are like the most interesting part of these. So we got a Jeff Matsuda. Oh, it's Merritt. Oh. Oh. The fuck, man. I don't mind your war-torn cityscape behind it, but everything else is kind of trash. We got somebody Johnson. I don't recognize that Johnson. Feel free to quote that out of context. Aaron Weisenfeld. Yeah, good perspective on the sword, though. Apparently he stole Spawn's cape. And more Dan Panosian. No, a little better. Yep. And that's it. Yeah, like I said, we're not going to go through that too much. Prophet number 3. Again, nothing of interest in the comic book itself. Although in this one, Anthony Wynn did break down pencils, so Rob couldn't be bothered. It might be better. And again, I think there's a lot of pinups in the back here. Who we have? Chap Yape. Yarvinin. I know that name. That's an ex-Marvel artist. So I think that's Kirk Yarvinin. And I remember he did a few for the Marvel Series, I want to say Marvel Series 3 cards. And he's one of those guys who probably should have, he's got a very Simonson-y kind of style. Really, he probably should have taken off. I don't know what the hell happened there. Somebody who obscured their signature. That was dumb. Oh, that's it. Okay. So, I don't think this ever happened. Rob loves to say enough said. You know, like, get your own fucking thing. Like, your oblique ripoffs are one thing, but when you're outright stealing the Stanisms, you know? So, another thing we can look at here, really quickly, is Prophet number 1 Remastered. So this is the cover I got, which was the sketch cover, because it's the cheapest version. I'm not paying like $10 for a Prophet number 1 Remastered. I might decide to make my own cover out of this. Why not, right? Maybe I'll do that on a stream one time. So that's the actual cover, which is Liefeld. It's better. I don't know that it's better proportioned. It's more like he just got better colorists. So it's literally going to be a page for page redo, all right? He did not update that much at all. Okay, so do a quick run through. So we're starting with Thomas Hedglen. That's a little better. Yeah, no, that's better, definitely. Then we get Kenneth Rocafort. I like the spaceship. This is pretty sweet. So the deal with these, I don't know exactly what criteria Rob uses to decide who gets to draw in these. Because there's some interesting choices, I gotta say. And it's not the guys you would think. I mean, it is the guys you would think, but it's also a lot more guys that you wouldn't think. It says this is Merritt. I don't know if I believe it. It's very subdued, whatever it is. But like everything appears to be in proportion, which causes me doubt. Then I don't need to look this one up. This is Tom Scioli, who did basically a shot-for-shot remake, but in his particular style, which does up the intensity a little bit. One thing I don't like about what Tom Scioli does, though, is he seems to have a problem with using full blacks. And I think black is important on a page. But I mean, you know, it's an interesting style if it's your taste. Sometimes it is for me, sometimes it isn't. Again, one I don't need to look up. This is Ed Piskor of Red Room and of Cartoonist Kayfabe. And that is much more interesting than this. Prophet hacking his way through a wall of cyborgs. I like the work on the blade. It actually looks interesting as opposed to whatever Dan had to do here. Yeah, it's not bad. Although, I mean, you know, Ed Piskor's style isn't really suited to this kind of thing. But no, for this page at least, this looks pretty good. Then we get. I wish I hadn't fucked up the order. I was doing well for a minute there. This is V. Ken Marion. Threw in an extra panel here. Interesting choice. This is much better. More of an anime style. I like this. I mean, it's kind of the same angle, but this does look quite a bit better. And, I mean, being able to see the ship makes a difference. Yeah, it's not bad. It's interesting, because some guys took it as, you know, just get the basics down, but, like, work it in a way that works better for you. Whereas some guys went, I have to do exactly the same kind of page. For example, drawn exactly the same, basically. So this one is Philip Tan, who I want to say is a Transformers guy, but I could be wrong. Oh, we're back to proper good stuff. Now, this is much more modern coloring, where Prophet all of a sudden looks like a 12-year-old boy. Who is this? Victor Bogdanovich. All right. I wonder how much is actually on... Well, I was going to say, I wonder how much is on the page and how much is color. There is no page, I'm quite sure. This is all done in computers, probably. Oh, and then we get the big splash. Well, it's quite a bit better. Definitely. This is Rob Willis, which is a name I'm not familiar with. But yeah, that's pretty good. Got no problems with that whatsoever, really. And then we get the Prophet reveal. This is by Clay Mann. I like the angle here, anyway. Yeah, particularly the way she's standing here. That's pretty good. Not super dramatic, but I feel like there's not a lot you can do. This is probably about as good as you can get, really. And then this is Rob. And again, photocopies, because Rob can't be asked to do a whole page by himself. Well, I mean, he can sometimes, but he didn't feel like it today. I don't mind this rough style, though. But, like, how much of that is Rob and how much is the color? It's hard to tell. Okay, we got Ryan Kincaid. Not my thing. Carl Alstater. He would draw Bloodstrike after Dan Fraga. That's not bad. Ron Williams, not familiar. With good reason, maybe. I don't know. It's very typical. Raymond Leonard, not familiar. And not much of a page he got. Poor guy. And then Dan Panosian gets a shot at some redemption. So if we recall, this is this splash page, which I said was pretty bad. And I stand by that. I said it just like 20 minutes ago. But this is quite a bit better. And this is the kind of thing Dan Panosian does these days. He's much better at, well, everything, really. But he has a very defined style, which is nice. And we got Corey Hampshire, Dietrich Smith. This all looks like, I don't know, standard stuff to me. Ali Garza, which is a name I'm not familiar with, but apparently this is the kind of stuff he draws. So he was able to do this a fair bit better than Panosian was back in the day. So good for him on that. That looks like Rob. I'm pretty sure it is. Yep. And then he gives the last page to Dan Fraga, who, I don't know, didn't feel like drawing a whole lot that day by the looks of it. Prophet looks okay. The swords look pretty bad. And Kirby looks fucking terrible. Pretty sure he can do better than that. Oh, the Brigade remaster is coming soon. I don't think I have this cover. I do have this issue. And now we're going to get Rob hyping himself up, which is the one thing he's genuinely good at. So he's going to talk about 1992 when it was reckless and wild, and oh, Image was great. We did all this stuff. Prophet has been in the spotlight for 30 years now. I beg your pardon? Is that what it has been? I thought it was a nothing book until Stephen Platt came on board. And then he went away and it was a nothing book again until it got canceled like a year later. And then it kind of sat in limbo until he decided to resurrect it like 20 years after that. And then it got a few issues. And then he decided to resurrect it like another few years after that. Because that's what he fucking does. Every once in a while he comes up with another, takeoff of an established superhero. But the rest of the time, he's just trying to rehash his old shit. Oh, and this is the page that was apparently not included in the book itself. It actually got replaced by this shit. I mean, it's not shit. It's fine, but boring. And this is the Jim Rugg page, which is fantastic. I mean, it's very much not an Image thing. Particularly since he very clearly did it in a notebook and then took a photo of the notebook. He's got this Plan 9 flying saucer and, just all the fucking flexing in the world. And this feels like it should have a soundtrack by Mastodon. I don't know how you don't make this your cover. So, okay. That's the remaster. So, next time, we're going to talk about some Stephen Platt. So, just to give you an idea, if you're not familiar, I mean, you're probably familiar. But, Prophet number 4 is drawn by Dan Panosian, but Stephen Platt does the cover. So, we're going to get a few issues of this. It'll be pretty glorious. Just all the veins, massive muscles. Prophet is like 18 feet tall, always double lit. Everything done with 0.1 microns. All the detail in the world. But we'll get into that on Wednesday, I think. In the meantime, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notifications. Click on the links in the description to go to my Patreon and subscribe there. That'll give you access to the Blood Force pages and comics, as well as these videos before they make it to YouTube, usually a week or so in advance. Then go over to my Instagram and commission some Blood Force artwork. I'm not drawing this. I will say that straight up. That's not happening. I can draw like this at a third fidelity, like 480p. Okay? But no. I'm not doing no Platt. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.